Hey, what's going on? Rochester, ISUPK Rochester, ISUPK Buffalo, ISUPK Syracuse. What's going on? Coming back at you live. All right, back in business, back in full swing. Thursdays, 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. ISUPK Rochester will be going live from the ISUPK Syracuse pages, as well as ISUPK Rochester on Facebook. Listen, this is something that we must understand, so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. In Rochester, we are in a society that cannot be fixed. It cannot be changed. It won't change. It's not going to be reformed. They're not going to change anything with police. In fact, Donald Trump removed sensitivity training. So you can forget that notion of them thinking of you as human beings in Rochester. This system was built on corruption. It was built on lies. And we're going to show you all that in the scriptures. Biblically, we're going to prove to you that this system cannot be fixed. Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, we need to look at the man, the woman in the mirror. That's what can be fixed. That's what needs to get fixed. Okay? That's what needs to change. That's what will get the cops off our necks. The bills from crushing our minds. And the devil, the slave master, from oppressing us. And using his systematic racism to entrap us and destroy us. Okay? Like the video, share the video. If you know somebody in Rochester, New York, Buffalo, New York, let them know that the police department will never change. System of oppression will never change. This is a land of our captivity. Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, First Nations, within Rochester, within Buffalo, Western New York, Syracuse as well. Nothing's going to change. In lieu of this, there was just a police officer over in Utica, upstate New York, who I believe was suspended for use of unnecessary physical force. Unnecessary aggressive force. Another cop beat somebody's head in over in Utica. Right after this happened. Didn't stop. Didn't change. This happened in March, man. This happened right in March. In lieu of the police killings that happened earlier this year. Man, a cop in Utica just beat another man. I don't know if he was an Israelite or so-called Black, Latino, or Native American or not. Beat another man unnecessarily. In the report they said it's unnecessary and they suspended him. Why do they suspend him? More than likely this guy's been doing it several times. And that Chief Laron Singletary has the mark of the beast. That's what he has. And all those cops, those Black and Latino RPD cops, are disgusting unto the Most High. They're disgusting unto the Most High, and they're a part of the problem. There's a big pot, a big heaping pot of problems that we have as keeping us in the state that we're in, as keeping us in cities like Rochester, poor as we are, as destroyed as we are. That slough being turned by the devil, slave master. You understand? Like a pot. One of the things he uses is he uses corrupt and immoral blacks and Latinos to rule over us. Why does the rapper with the big record contract, why is he always, or in many cases, someone from the hood? Someone from the hood, not only someone from the hood, but the most oppressive and wicked bastard in that community. Talking about killing people, selling people packs and drugs, selling to somebody else's grandmother. Sleeping around with women and tossing them out like rags. They'll give him a record contract. But the regular Negro scraping day to day, they don't do a damn thing for him. Why do you think these cops he became chief of police, Laron Singletary? Because he's the most corrupt man in Rochester. And he's lying about a man that was killed in custody. What do you think else he's lying about? How else do you think dope is getting all the way up near the Canadian border? Negro in Rochester, Latino, First Nations. Laron Singletary, first of all, when Daniel Prude died, that cat said that he died of a drug overdose. Come to find out months later, we find out he died of asphyxiation. They put in a spit hood on a man that's having a mental breakdown. I'm going into the scriptures, man. Enough of this. Okay? Let's go into the scripts and show you what the Most High has to say about it. If you have questions, type your questions in. Questions, type them in. Shalom, Captain Yagarwa. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah. You know what I want. Okay? Negro, Latino, First Nations, so-called Native American in Rochester, hear this right now. Marching is not going to do a damn thing. There's no need to go into the police station and get yourself arrested, get a criminal record, or get our criminal records added to for something that's not going to change. These cops have been racist, man. These are Klan members. The white supremacists that work in the police force. Okay? That's not going to change in Rochester, Buffalo, or anywhere. This is the Bible. Ecclesiastes 7 and 13. Consider the work of God. Black man, Latino in Rochester, consider the work of God. Look at what the Most High created in Rochester. Trees, the squirrels that are running around, the grass, acorns, the lake, the Genesee, right? Lake Ontario. Look at all the work of the Most High. The men, okay? Your brothers and sisters. People of your race, the other races that are up there in Rochester, Africans, Chinese, the oppressor. Consider the work of the Most High. Let's read on. For who can make that straight which he hath made crooked? You can't make these people straight. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The cops are a counterpart to the street gangs. They're the government's street gangs, the government's cronies. That's what the cops are. You got regular street gangs that he'll allow to set up in Rochester. That's another thing, too, for that stinking cop, Laurent Singletary. You seem to tell me you're in the middle of nowhere in Rochester, right? And you can't stop the flow of drugs into that city? For those of you that don't know, Rochester, New York is in the middle of nowhere. Okay, you're driving 90 to 100 miles in the woods from Syracuse to Rochester. There's damn near nothing in between these two cities. This is not, New York City. This isn't Philadelphia. We've got millions of people to look at. There's only a few ways into the city and a few ways out. Yet drugs are rampant in this city. And for years, they didn't know how to stop it. You don't want to know why they didn't know how to stop it? Because the Rochester Police Department and that police chief was heavily involved in drug trafficking. Mayor Lovely Warren needs to open up. They need to open up a case against him. Laurent Singletary just backed out because they're trying to slander his character when he lied and said that brother died of a drug overdose. Come to find out, he was just a brother that needed help. He was having a mental breakdown. Okay? And they threw a damn spit hood over his head and put him out on the ground. He's not on nothing in his boxers. You can't make that straight. Put a spit hood on a man that's having a mental breakdown. They put a spit hood on his head and he choked to death. The man is crying and pleading for Jesus Christ in that video. We'll go into that next if there's time. Okay? You can't make it straight, Black Lives Matter. You can't make it straight, so-called Negro in the streets. You can't make it straight, protesters. You can't make it straight. Okay? And when the going gets tough, that European that's with you, that Caucasian, in Rochester you got what? The Irish, the Mediterraneans that are up there, the Italians. When the going gets tough, they're going to sell you the hell out. Okay? And again, all those people you're protesting with, Black Lives Matter, they would never be black for a day. In Buffalo, they would never live in Kenmore, ever. They would never trade places with you and live in East Rochester for 15 minutes. Yeah, they'll go march with you and protest with you. They'll take a walk with you, but they'll never be you. Okay? Ask the Native American Indians how that went, going and assisting these animals, man. All right, Rochester isn't that big. Those people you're protesting with are related to the cops that killed them. If they really cared, they would have gotten in contact with their Caucasian friends and told them not to be a damn murderer. Okay? Ecclesiastes 1 and 15. That which is crooked cannot be made straight. Stop wasting your time. Just wasting our time. It is a waste of time to go to them and ask them to be what? Nicer to us? We're talking about the race that dropped the only atomic weapon in war. He's going to be nice. The man drops atomic weapons from the sky. He's going to be nice. We're talking about the same man. Listen, there are no Native American Indians damn near in Western New York. That was the Seneca's land. The Seneca were the keepers of the keepers of the Eastern Door. Meaning this: if you wanted to get from New York over to Canada, you had to go through the Seneca. If you were Native American Indians, you got the Onondaga over there in Syracuse. The Onondaga, when they wanted to travel to Canada to see their brothers from the Iroquois, all right? Matter of fact, pause, let me give you some backdrop. Western New York, or upstate New York into Canada, the Gadites that are up there, so-called Native Americans that were up there, they were known as the Iroquois Confederacy. It was a list of 5 tribes. I don't know them all, Salakia. All right, but I know the Seneca were prominent ones. The Onondaga, they're out of Syracuse. The Seneca are closer to Buffalo, etc. A few tribes going over into Canada. I believe the Mohawk were part of that. And they all work together. Where's the Mohawk at? Where's the Seneca? Where's the Onondaga? Okay? Why do you have Italians and European immigrants running Syracuse? How did they get that land? Because of love, peace, and granola? Because they marched and said, let's make land together? They murdered them and stole their damn land. You expect his great-great-grandkids to what? Give you a share on the land he stole? He's a thief. Go to a thief in Rochester, right? Go to him and say, you know what? I know you're stealing TVs. You stole somebody's car. Okay? Robbing people. Listen. Can I get one of the Panasonics, the Sonys you use? What do you think he's going to say? He's going to shoot you. Okay? That's just what's going to happen. He's going to tell you, I don't know what you're talking about. He's going to act like he doesn't know what stealing is. That's this man. You go into a thief and you're saying, oh, look, we know you stole every inch of this land, but can we have some equality on it? No, you can't have any damn equality on it. He's an animal. He's a thief. Okay? That which is crooked cannot be made straight. And that which is wanting cannot be numbered. If it's lacking, it can't be numbered. Okay? Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to Habakkuk 2 and 12. Listen, you can run these precepts down all day. Police brutality precepts. Okay? And you know where I'm going next. You know we're going to Lamentations 4. We have to go to Lamentations 4. We're going to run these scriptures to you day in and day out until you're tired of it. You're going to know these scriptures like you know your favorite rap song. Okay? In a second, Black, Latino, Native in Rochester. We have to beat it into our heads so we can get out of this place. We're trying to form a world where you don't have to worry about getting beat to death by the police. We're forming a world, trying to form a society where if your brother has demons on him, you understand, he doesn't have to get put to death. Christ is a good example of that. And Christ, we'll get that too, in Mark 5 and 5, he saw a man with demons. He was out in the woods cutting himself. He was a nut, a maniac. Yet Christ put a spit hood over him, put him on the ground and knee him and kill him? No, he wouldn't cast the demons out. Those cops, what they also showed you is that this nation, this race of people can't do anything to help us. They putting a spit hood over they outnumber him. They putting a spit hood over him and killing him. They can't fix our drug problem in Rochester. They can't fix the problem of single mothers in Rochester. Rochester, New York has some of the highest numbers of single parent households in the country, on par with Memphis. Poverty rates on par with Detroit. This is a historically destroyed place, man. This is a historically destroyed place, Rochester, and they take a man who's ill and they kill him. They put him to death. They don't have the solution. The family of Daniel Prude should have called the ISUPK myself. I was in Rochester, 9 months to a year, telling so-called blacks, Latinos, and natives in that city what to do, how to live. And people walked on by. Now they need to take note. If the Prude family would have called myself on the phone, ISUPK Rochester, we would have gathered a crew, I would have called the brothers from Syracuse or myself. We went down there and calmed that brother down. And he would have went home alive if he would have called that number, which is my number, ISUPK Rochester. If he would have called Captain Azania, he would have went home alive. Okay? Captain Azania wasn't going to put a spit hood over his head and beat him to death. I'm not going to put a spit hood over his head and beat him to death. We're going to calm him down. You understand? Cast the demons out of him and tell him to go home and take a seat. Okay? And contact the family, and we'll give them advice on how to handle this matter. Because you have a man with mental illness, rather, who is not bound. That demon that brother had, that demon's it's in the Bible. The blueprint on how to solve that issue is in Mark 5 and 5. That's all they needed to know, and they needed to call a priest. Okay? It's Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood. Rochester, listen, the city of Rochester is named after a man named Nathaniel Rochester, who was a slave master in Maryland. Go look it up. Blacks, Latinos, and natives. The city was built by slavery. The city was built by a bloody man. That devil Nathaniel Rochester, he was a bloody man. He was a companion of rapists, a violent man, a thief, a kidnapper. That's who he was. Rochester's built off of kidnapping, off of forced labor, off of human trafficking, off of rape, off of cruel oppression. Yet a few hundred years later, we expect the descendants to be nice and kind. It's idiotic. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 12, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establisheth a city by iniquity. Like we just said, they built that city off iniquity. Okay? It's in the middle of nowhere. You mean to tell me you can't find out where the drugs are going? Ephraim, the so-called Puerto Ricans, are pushing heroin out of East Rochester like Old Country Buffet, like fries in an Old Country Buffet. Okay? Pushing it like chicken in Popeyes. They don't know what's going on? They sure as hell do. Police are involved in all the drug trafficking in Rochester. It's impossible not to. Okay? In that little city, you know, everybody knows everybody. Okay? And the police don't have much ground to cover. That's a corrupt group of cops up there to be in a city with that kind of poverty, that kind of drug use, and that kind of violence. That city of Rochester is extremely, extremely violent. They talk about Chicago all the time. There are many cities with much higher murder rates than Chicago. Okay? Destruction unto him that buildeth the town with blood. Rochester is going to be destroyed, Black Lives Matter. This is in Habakkuk 2 and 12. This is in the Bible. You got some ignorant idiot preacher up there in Rochester come up and apologize and speak for the people. You're going to, more and more, you're going to hear about preachers sounding like they're down for the cause, sounding revolutionary, when they're a bunch of damn liars. Okay? These people are crooked and corrupt. And the preacher, all the way on to the cop, is the most corrupt individual in our community. He's getting grants and money from the government, yet you have entrenched and deep poverty in Rochester. Poverty that they're not going to get out of. Poverty that's so deep, I was watching videos about the way the brothers and sisters live in the city of Rochester, and to get to work, it's like they're on a bus for, somebody said, 5 hours a day. You're just on a bus going from here to there, to here to there, to get to and from work. I drove by, I was on a bus myself, driving by a church, and the pastor has a nice Mercedes in a cage in a parking spot. It's in a cage in a parking spot. If I go past that church, I'll take a picture of it. Okay? He's running around in a Mercedes AMG while we're scraping and scrounging hours at a time on a bus. Okay? With that many so-called black people in the city, man, we could have had our own economy, our own this and our own that. But our leaders bear the blame for this. It's their fault. Mary Lovely Warren was right for saying it was her fault. She later changed her stance. After that, she had a press conference on the 3rd where she was, I'm sorry, this is my fault, and what they did was wrong. She later changed her stance a few days ago because of the heat from the police union. Okay? That's Ecclesiasticus 2 and 12. This is for the family of Daniel Prude. Okay, he had he had a demon on him that's common in the so-called black and Hispanic community. There's a story in the Bible about how Christ handled it. Okay, we're going to see if the one you call Christ, if he put a spit hood on him or threatened him with death or put him to death. This is Mark chapter 5 verse 5, and it reads, matter of fact, Mark chapter 5 and 2. Mark chapter 5 and verse 1. All right, I'm going to check the chat. Boom. Sister Renah had a question on Ecclesiastes 12 and 14. All right, so Shara Renah, I'll get your question after the scripture. All right, it's Mark chapter 5, verse 1. And they came over unto the other side of the sea into the country of the Gadarenes. Okay, there's a country named after a family, I believe, known as the Gadarenes. All right, verse 2. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit. This man had an unclean spirit on him. Another name for unclean spirit is a demon. Okay? It's a spirit, a vibe that is not clean. Okay, women that are promiscuous have an unclean spirit, a vibe on them, if you will, that is unclean. Okay? In the physical world, they have a entity that is suggesting to them to be a whore and to kill themselves. All right? In the spiritual world, they have an unclean spirit tied to them. Okay, that's why it says he was in the tombs with him. He was with an unclean spirit. The unclean spirit's with him, in him. Okay, verse 3. Who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him. No, not with chains. You couldn't bind him. Okay, and this demon that Daniel Prude had is common in Rochester. They talk about, oh, he was severely mentally ill. No, he wasn't. These brothers are ripping and running down the streets and getting into shootouts and all that. They have this damn demon. Because in many cases, there is some mother, if she's on drugs or whatever, in whatever state she's in, there's some mother telling him, you better stay in the house. You better do your homework. You better stay off the streets. And they don't listen because they have this same demon that this man had. The same demon that Daniel Prude had. Okay? Verse 4. Okay, Daniel Prude, he's out. He would take his clothes off and go run around Rochester, raving mad through the streets. All right, Mark chapter 5, verse 4. Because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains. Right, he was bound with fetters and chains. We were bound with fetters and chains. Many of us, many so-called blacks, Latinos in Rochester went to jail, went to prison, have been in mental institutions. Let's read on. And the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces. Neither could any man tame him. Go to him in the streets, man, you need to stop doing this, man. Even in the world we did this. You need to stop doing this. Sis, you need to stop running and sell your behind for $40. You're worth $40. $40 in 15 minutes. She doesn't give a damn. No one can tame her. She thinks it's because she's bad and independent. She is being controlled. Like a Xbox joystick, okay? And she listens to everything that voice tells her to do. This man had a demon on him, and this demon did not want him to be bound by anyone. He would go and, rip chains off and go and run around and run amok. This demon's on many of us in Rochester, not just Daniel Prude. Okay, let's read on. Verse 5, and always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. He was depressed as well. And was doing what? Cutting himself. That cutting yourself and threatening suicide and contemplating suicide, suicidal ideation is a demon. It's an unclean spirit. It's an unclean spirit of not wanting to be tamed, an unclean spirit of crying, of self-pity. Okay, which is what this man had. All right? Let's read on. Mark chapter 5, verse 6. But when he saw Jesus afar off, he ran and worshipped him. When he saw Yahushua afar off, he ran and worshipped him. Who was the he? The demon. We're going to see that the unclean spirit ran to him and talked to him. Let's see what he had to say. Verse 7. And cried with a loud voice and said, what have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of the Most High God? Okay, he talked to Yahushua. He said, what do I have to do with you? Okay, because he knew that Yahushua was the Son of the Most High power. He recognized Yahushua's status, his rank, okay, as being the special Son of the Most High. I adjure thee by God that thou torment me not. Yahushua had the power to cast demons out, which torments them. There's another precept in the scriptures that says, when an unclean spirit leaveth a man, he walketh through dry places. Meaning, when a demon's cast out of you or cast out of another person, it's thirsty. It's desiring to get into someone else. Okay? And when it returns with 7 more spirits more wicked than him, more powerful than him. So, by casting the spirits off, the demons off, you torment them, man. They're tormented. Because they have to inhabit people. They have to get people to destroy and kill themselves. Which is the power that the Lord's been given, that has given to Satan through Satan deceiving people. Or lying to people. Okay? Mark chapter 5 verse 8, for he said unto him, come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. Yahushua said, come out of him. Cast him out. He was going to cast him out anyway. Okay. Mark 5 and 9, and he asked him, what is thy name? And he answered, saying, my name is Legion, for we are many. Okay, so brothers and sisters running and ripping the streets, having sex with everybody, running, ripping, getting into shootouts and making life a living hell, won't be tamed, can't stay in the damn house. They have a legion of demons on them. Okay, people with depression, cutting themselves and won't receive correction from anybody, have a legion of demons. That man Daniel proved he needed help. Okay? And how Shai casted the demon out of him? He didn't wrap him in a spit hood and beat him to death. Okay? Which is why all these nations are going to come under the authority of Yahushua. He has the blueprint. He understands how to rule. You can't rule a nation beating people and beating people half to death. I'm going to show you that as well. Okay? Because of unjust dealing, a kingdom is given to another. Yeah, that's Ecclesiastes 10. That's my chapter, okay, for this class or in this topic. All right. Any more questions? Type the questions in. I'll get your questions after this. After I read Mark 5. Okay. Matter of fact, that's the end of it. So he cast the demon out of the man. Okay. How does that look like? How would that look like? How would that
First
appear?
and foremost.
Excuse me. How would that appear to you? His behavior changed. His behavior improved. He started to go home. He wasn't running the streets and he wasn't cutting himself. He had lost the desire for suicide. He had taken correction. He had begun to get help. Okay? A demon was cast off by him. That's how you see it in the physical realm. Okay? If you had spiritual glasses or spiritual sight, what you would see in the world that is not physical, you would see a being or entity leave him. All right? Or get off of him. Okay, Ecclesiastes, what was the question? Hold on. We'll have to, Shirash, what's going on? All right, Ecclesiastes 12 and 14, all right. Sister Shirah, a question on Ecclesiastes 1 and 14. Any questions, type them in, all right. The Ecclesiastes 12 and 13 reads, "Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man." The job of mankind on this earth is to obey the Most High's commandments. Okay, it's like any creation. All right, anything that's made, there's a user's manual with it. All right, this is what you do with a chair. This is what you don't do with a chair. Okay, a folding chair isn't used as a toilet. Okay, you wouldn't sit over a folding chair and take a dump on it, because that's not what it's for. You wouldn't put dirt on a folding chair and grow, start growing vegetables on it. That's not what it's for. Okay, man's user manual, and in that user manual, it has the food he can and can't eat, who he can and can't have sex with, and to sum up the user manual, it's to keep the commandments. That's the conclusion of the whole matter. That's the point of life. All right, Ecclesiastes 12 and 14 was her question. "For God shall bring every work into judgment." The Most High, He's going to bring every work into judgment. Everything that's done on this earth, it'll be brought to judgment. It'll be judged. It'll be put on trial with every secret thing. Every work will be brought in judgment with every secret thing. Every work. What's a work? A work is something that you can see done. All right? They're doing construction. You can see that. They're making a movie. You can see that. We're in ISUPK, we're making videos, we're having classes, you can see that. With every secret thing, everything that's done in dark, or everything that you think is done in dark, things that people don't know about, all that's going to be brought into judgment. All of that's going to be brought into trial. Okay? Every work with the secret thing. Secret thing of who? Of man. Why? Because in verse 13 it says the duty of man is to keep the commandments. Every work of man will be brought into judgment. What they did to that brother up in Rochester will be brought into judgment. They'll pay for it. Okay? With every secret thing. All the stuff that they're doing in Rochester, that the cops are doing in Rochester that we don't know about, which is many. Many. Okay? Whether it be good or whether it be evil, whatever you do, you work, and whatever you're doing in the secret is going to be brought into judgment. You're going to be judged based on whether it be good or whether it be evil. Whatever you do, Most High is going to reward you or punish you based on that. That's all. That's what that's saying. All right. Hope that answers your question. Okay. Any more questions? Type your questions in. ISUPK Rochester, live on Facebook. Type your questions in if you have them. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back. Ayana Bar, no problem. So, with that being said, I'm going to Ecclesiasticus 10 and 8. This is for the so-called Black Lives Matter in Rochester. We're wasting our time. Like, why get arrested for a cause that isn't going to change anything? First of all, the Black Lives Matter is funded by several Democratic billionaires like George Soros, the Clinton Foundation, etc., whose sole goal is to get Democrats in the presidential office. That's their goal. The movement is credited with being started by so-called black lesbians who don't care about black men. Okay? So, we're just wasting our time here. Let's look into the scriptures. Let's see what the scriptures have to say on the matter. Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. The kingdom is going to be translated. It's going to be given to us. Rulership on this earth is going to be given to us because of unrighteous dealings. What you did to Daniel Prude, Rochester Police Department, was murder. You're murderers. You had that Locust Club president, I think his name is Matthew Mazzeo, say, I don't appreciate my police officers being called murderers. They're murderers. Just said it. You quote ISUPK Rochester, they are murderers. Okay? They deal unrighteously. They're crooked. All 7 of those cops are crooked cops. And you have the chief of police covering up a murder. What else is, what kind of drugs is he covering up? What kind of truck shipments does he have intel on he just lets come on through? What kind of gun shipments does he have connections on? Or does he have the tip on that he lets go through? And they need to do more research on him because, okay, Rochester's the gateway into Canada. So, again, who knows what kind of, international BS they're running. This scheme is bigger than just, Buffalo and Rochester. They getting cash, from Canadians, Canadian gang members, mafia members, whatever, to get those guns up there into Toronto. To get those guns across Lake Ontario. This is deeper, even bigger than Rochester. These people are crooked. For him to be able to cover up a murder like that, LaRon Singletary, he has the mark of the beast. We're going to read about that next. All right. If you have questions, type them in. I don't see any questions on Facebook. No questions on YouTube. All right. Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people unto another. They got riches by deceit. They built whole towns and communities in Rochester, in western New York, in upstate New York, by enslaving the children of Judah, enslaving so-called Puerto Ricans, enslaving the First Nation. Okay, they sprinkle a little crack in Rochester, watch us sell it like idiots, and then they'll go lock us up. And that's how they have whole cities up in upstate New York running. The whole city of Edomites, devils, is on welfare. All of them work at the damn prison system. Who's in there? Jake's. So-called blacks, Latinos, and First Nations. He got riches by deceit. The wealth he has in Rochester is stolen from the Seneca Indians, the Onondaga Indians, the Onondaga natives, excuse me. Injuries, okay? Injured the people in Rochester, injured the so-called black women in Rochester. Rochester, New York has some of the highest single-parent household rate in the country. That's an injury perpetrated by the slave master, the devil, in Rochester, in Niagara Falls, in Buffalo. All right? Because of this, it's going to be translated to you. Now, if we're dealing unrighteously, if we're injuring ourselves and injuring others, if we're getting riches by deceit, you want to sell $1,000 of coke and then go to jail the next week, pimping out so-called black women in Rochester, Puerto Rican women in Rochester, if we're robbing each other, being stick-up kids and a bunch of damn jerks in the hood, then we're not getting the damn kingdom. He's going to keep it in the hands of the wicked. Okay? Rochester's in the hands of the wicked. That's another thing we have to understand. All right? And the Lord wants to give this place away. Oh, cap your guard off the water. He said, Salakia, are those cops going to be charged with the brother's death or not? No, not going to be charged. If I could, sir, all that happened was the mayor. The mayor's name is Lovely Warren. She's a Israelite woman from the tribe of Judah, to my understanding, so-called black woman. She suspended them, but she took a lot of heat for suspending them at all. You had the head, if you will, of Rochester Police's club, if you will. Their club is called the Locust Club, and he said he didn't see anything wrong with Rochester Police's Rochester policemen's actions. So no, they haven't been charged yet, sir, and I don't think they will be charged, because the first ruling was that he was on drugs. Come to find out, he died of asphyxiation. She was choked to death with a damn plastic bag over his head. No, they're not going to be charged. No, I'll be shocked if they would, but no, they haven't been charged with anything yet. They've just been suspended. I don't even know if there's an investigation. They may have closed the case, saying, "Oh well, he's dead, he's gone now." The police, they already reviewed the tape, so if they saw what they needed to see and they don't think it necessary to charge them, then no, they won't charge them. Now, the only way I can see them charging them is if this takes a political turn, which it does. But they're not gonna get okay, they might get arrested for it, and the charge, they might get charged with it, but they're not going to jail for it. They're not going to be found guilty. No way. Finding a cop guilty of murder is like finding a needle in a haystack. Okay, it's impossible. They have license to kill. So to answer your question, sir, la. Okay, not going to change a thing. Not going to charge it. Is Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. No, they're not going to be charged. Come on, sir. Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. Those officers are just like the chief of police, Laurent Singletary, and the commander. I can't remember his name. Okay, so you had Laurent Singletary, a Judite, who was the chief of police of Rochester. You had a few Ephraimites that were high up there with him. They all quit. They all left because the dirt was brought out to the light. They'd done in secret, in the dark was brought out to the light. What they're doing in secret is being dirty, crooked cops. Why are they dirty and crooked? Because the chief of police is crooked and the mayor of the Locust Club is crooked. All right, bear with me 1 second. All right, excuse me for that. A brief interruption. I had to open the door. All right. Again, if you have any questions, type them in. The chief of police is crooked. That the head of the Locust Club is crooked. He said he didn't see any problems with the actions that they took. If I could hold everything, Rochester's police club is called the Locust Club. That's their little the name of their fraternity chapter of Rochester. Okay, the Locust Club, and that's biblical. Let me show you that in Revelation 9. Okay, that these people are compared to locusts. The Caucasians in Rochester are locusts. Okay, they're a plague on this earth. That's what they've been. Their history proves that. Their character proves that. Their actions to this day prove that. Okay. Revelation chapter 9, verse 3. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, And unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. These people are locusts, man. These locusts in this chapter are figurative for a people that have the power to kill and that cover the earth like a plague of locusts. That's the so-called Europeans. They went from sea to shining sea in this country, murdering and slaughtering, having the power to kill. Slaughtered the Native Americans. Enslaved and crushed the tribe of Judah into powder. Crushed the tribe of Judah so much that we're just stumbling around Rochester high on weed, not giving a damn about anything. They've crushed us to a powder, a fine powder. Okay? And they have the power to do so for a time. Let's read on. Okay? Remember now, the head of the Rochester's police chapter call it the name of this club, of this chapter rather, is the Locust Club. The Most High said that there would be entities that come out of this earth like locusts from the bottom of the earth, from jail. Okay? These people were in chains. They were serfs. They were the plebeians. They were, commoners for a long period of time in Europe when black people ruled. Now, they were let out and they were let to run loose and they run wild and they murder and they destroy across the earth just like a scorpion. A scorpion has the power to do what? Kill. That venom is in there not to give you a hug or a kiss. That venom is there to put you to sleep. Okay? That's what it means when it says they have power like the scorpions of earth have power, the earth have power. Revelation chapter 9 verse 4, and it was commanded them that they should not hurt any, and it was commanded that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree. But only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. So the grass of the earth, the green thing, is not talking about grass. It doesn't say, the Lord didn't command these locusts, okay, you can't mow the lawn, all right? Okay? But the dead grass, you can go ahead and put, I can't remember what was the name of that weed remover that they had recalls of? I can't remember. Weed, it wasn't Weed Be Gone, but you get the point. This other grass, dead grass, you can go and put weed remover on it and mow it down and whatever. It's not what it's talking about. The green grass and any green thing is the same, is on the same context as the men that don't have the seal of the Most High in their foreheads. A green grass and green things are men that are alive, that have the breath of life. Okay? The breath of life being the understanding of the law, statutes, and commandments. I'm going to give you a precept for that since we're in class. Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to get is that Baruch 3? There's a Baruch 4. Bear with me 1 second. Nah, it's Baruch 4, right? Yep, Baruch 4 and 1. This is a precept for the green grass and the green thing being those that are alive, and the proof that those that are alive have the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, this is Baruch chapter 4 and verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God, the Most High. That's what the book is. The book isn't something you just thump and dance around, and hopscotch in church over. Okay, it's a book of the commandments of God. It's a list of rules. Okay, that's why so-called Negroes run from the Bible, because it gives structure in our lives, and we hate structure in the world. Okay, but this book is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endures forever. Commands and laws, guidelines, rules. All right? All they that keep it shall come to life. Green grass is what? Alive. Green thing, you have a tree and the bark is underneath the bark, the flesh is green, it's alive. Okay? When you come to a land without grass, you think, there's not much living life here. When you come to another landscape, you see grass and trees. You know that there's going to be insects and squirrels and all kinds of stuff running around in those trees because there's life there. You understand? Trees are alive. Grass is alive. Okay? The law, statutes, and commandments bring us to life. Those men that don't have the seal of the Most High on their foreheads don't have the law of the Most High, aren't keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, aren't living their lives the way Christ would have us live our lives, without a drug-free life, okay, a whore-free life, okay, for sisters not using drugs as well, not being whores or selling your body as well, thinking that you're worth more than $40. Okay? That's the life that Christ would have us lead. That's a life that a man leads that has a seal of the Most High on his forehead, and that's a life a woman leads that doesn't want to die. Okay? If I could sum it up for you, that's how we avoid getting destroyed by the police, getting killed by the police, suffering what we suffer here in this place. We keep the commandments, we'll come to life, we'll live. Okay, so let's get back to, matter of fact, let me finish the verse. Baruch 4:1. But such as leave it shall die. You leave this law, you'll die. It's going to be destroyed. And the police have power to kill those that are not alive, those that are already dead. If you're Black, Latino, or Native American and you're in the Christian church, you're already dead. First of all, they don't tell you how to do anything, any day-to-day stuff in life, they don't tell you how to do. They don't tell you how to handle the police. They don't tell you accurately how to deal with police and law enforcement. They don't tell you, hell, the Christian church, the Christian church is still the house of Satan, but I still understand them, from the standpoint of being there in the community. If they taught you how to sign and how to pay your damn bills. In Detroit, let me give you another story real quick. In Detroit, many so-called black people are losing their homes because they owe taxes on their homes. If you are below the poverty line, you make a certain amount of money in Detroit, they're not supposed to tax you at all. But the problem is many black people in Detroit don't know that. And it's probably the same in Rochester, considering the poverty rates in Rochester. The Christian church isn't going to help you with that. They're not going to tell you a damn thing. Because they don't tell you how to live. They surely don't teach the commandments, which is what would bring us to life. The police have the ability to kill Christians. I'm just trying to help you out. The police have the ability to kill Moors. Who else? Nation of Islam members, people in the Nation of Islam, people that are not alive, anyone that is not keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. They have the ability to kill them. They have the ability to kill those without the seal of the Most High, His stamp on you. You get His stamp on you by doing the things He would do. Okay, and he wouldn't go into some back alley in Rochester and pay a so-called black woman $40 for 15 minutes. He wouldn't do that. Yahushua wouldn't be caught over in East Rochester going into a trap house. Okay, to pick up a pack or have sex with somebody else's woman. He wouldn't be caught dead doing that. But those that do, they're fresh meat for the police. Fresh meat victims. We're not victims in the ISUPK. We're men. Okay. And we've developed sisters that are not victims. Some that just get used and thrown away. Some that's just a victim to the police, a victim to being a single mother. We don't produce that here. Okay? We're here to produce men and women that the police can't touch. And if a cop even thought of touching you, he'd have a heart attack the morning of. The morning before he would go into work to try and kill you or put a spit hood over you, he'd have a heart attack in his bed. That's the type of men and women we're working to produce here in the ISUPK. Okay? But those that don't have the seal, cops have open season on them. Revelation chapter 9, verse 5. And to them it was given that they should not kill them. Okay? Not going to kill those with the seal of the Most High on their foreheads. Not for wickedness, not for being evil. You understand what I'm saying? Not going to kill them like dogs in the street. Those that have life, those that have the commandments. But that they should be tormented 5 months. Right, we're going to be tormented 5 months. A short period of time, we're going to have to deal with the nonsense of being under these idiots. Being under a reality TV show host. President of the United States, Donald Trump. Hearing these animals talk about, you like we're pieces of meat, like we're trash. That's tormenting. Okay? And we have to go through and suffer the things we have to suffer here under the curses. Tormented 5 months. It's a short period of time. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion. When he striketh a man, it's as death. It's like we're living in hell, because we are. You understand? But it's only a short time for those that are alive. For those that keep the commandments. Those that don't keep the commandments, the police are going to start killing us like water, if you will. Like water running through the street. This is going to become open season, and you're going to see some civilian devils start doing it too. They started with Ahmaud Arbery. Okay, but that's going to pick up as well. Just regular white men coming up and killing you, and not a damn thing being done about it. Okay? Bear with me 1 second. I'm posting the sign out link. It's a little early. Roundup. That's it. Okay? Roundup. That's the weed killer. You don't get how Prue was choked from behind? James Miller. Well, they're murderers, so they're crafty. They know what they're doing. Okay? He just got on top of him and choked him. I mean, now he was choked from behind. And if you have a spit out over you, you can't breathe that as it is. Okay? All right? Back to Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 2. As a judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. That police chief, Laurent Singletary, is corrupt, and his officers are corrupt too. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are they that dwell therein. Okay? Such are all they that dwell therein. Rochester is a city filled with drug dealers and drug users and drug addicts because the chief of police is crooked. And the mayor, though, she tried to sound revolutionary a week ago. She has since changed her stance. The mayor is going to do whatever she's going to do to stay in office. Okay, the mayor is a politician. She's not invested in your life. She's not in the school. Okay. That Mary Lovely Warren, and shame on her as well for waiting until the devil, the slave master, made death a national headline. You know how often black people get killed in Rochester? Happens all the time. Gunfire all the time. Full-out gunfights in Rochester. She waits until the devil says, "Oh, look at this, Daniel Prue died. Look, the footage was released. CNN, NBC." She waited until that happened to then give a damn about the mentally ill, to then care about racism, systemic racism in Rochester. It's disgusting. These people are politicians. They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything for any other reason to fulfill their political obligations, to get reelected, or to get brownie points with their party, which is all she's doing. That she's likely a Democrat. The Republicans are doing the same damn thing. Okay? Cardi B and Candace Owens, two flops, two imbeciles. All right? This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 3. An unwise king destroyeth his people. Okay? Ruler, king, chief. Laurent Singletary is the chief of police. He destroyed his people in Rochester. He had a big hand in the state of your life for the past several years in Rochester. Too busy covering up cops, murdering mentally ill black people on the street, and not enough time spent getting the drugs off the street. Not enough time getting all these guns off the street. Not enough time stopping women from being raped and molested in that city the way they are. With the amount of whores and the amount of prostitution in that city, it should be obvious to anyone, okay, that there's a problem with child molestation and rape in that city as well. They're too busy covering up cops murdering people on the street to go and fix any of that stuff. To go and sit down and talk with families. To really go out and help people. Because he's an unwise king, he's an unwise ruler, and he destroyed his people. He aided in our demise. But through the prudence of them which are in authority shall the city be inhabited. The prudence, through the wisdom of those that are in authority, a city will be inhabited. Okay? You need a wise ruler, a wise man in charge. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 4. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 4, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set it over one that is profitable. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Most High. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He gave it over because we wanted to get high and have $40, 15-minute, one-night stands, okay, and celebrate all their holidays, celebrate Labor Day, okay, celebrate Halloween, which is coming up, celebrate Christmas, Thanksgiving, okay? But in due time, he's going to set it to one that's profitable. Men that are in the truth. Men that keep the law, statutes, and commandments, all right, and follow the men that follow Yahushua. Those men will be found in the ISUPK. Black, Latino, Native men in Rochester, in Buffalo, in Syracuse need to contact myself, Captain Azania, or myself. If you're in upstate New York, Captain Azania, my number is linked to, my number is listed for Western New York, Rochester, Buffalo, Niagara Falls. You need to get in touch with us, man. So you can become profitable so that this kingdom can be given to you. So Most High is tired of these people, man. He's raining judgment on them. He's raining, what is he raining on them? Wildfires on them in California. Let me show you wildfires in the Bible. Okay, they like to say, Smokey Bear, make sure you put all your campfires out to avoid wildfires. Well, that's not totally true. Okay? Smokey Bear is the damn devil along with his people. They're the people that made that character. Okay, wildfires in large part come from the Most High. Most High sanctions wildfires. All right, I'm going to show you that right now. Okay? Hold on one second. All right, 1 second. Again, if you have questions, type your questions in. I'll check the chat in a second, okay? I'm going to the letter of Jeremiah and the Apocrypha, so-called Apocrypha. This will be Baruch, the 6th chapter. In some versions, it'll just be its own book. All right, this is a letter of Jeremiah or Baruch, the 6th chapter. And the 63rd verse, okay? This is for Smokey Bear, all right, who's the devil on the earth, along with his people. And the fire sent from above to consume hills and woods doth as it is commanded. That fire is not random, okay? That fire in California is not random. It is doing as it is commanded. The Lord set a bound for that fire, where it would go, who it would burn up, who it wouldn't burn up. Right now, California is dealing with their worst wildfire season on record. In some portions of Oregon, it looks like the sky is blood red. The Lord commanded that. The Most High Power, the one you call God, commanded that. Okay? But these are like unto them, neither in shoe nor power. It's talking about false gods. False gods are nothing like unto them, like any of the elements, or for sure like the Most High Himself. Okay? And so they can't do any of those things. Can Kris Kringle bring wildfires? Hell no. Does he command lightning? No. Labor Day, did that help us at all? No. Okay? Fire sent from above consumes hills and woods, and it does as it is commanded. Who's the commander of the Most High? Wildfire in California is from God for what they've done to the California Indians. They absolutely slaughtered those people. I read the book. There's a book called Exterminate Them. Try reading that book without crying. Some of the stories that they had of what they did to those brothers and those sisters, man. The rape, the murder, just the thievery, and the lying, the stealing. It was disgusting. For those devils who live in California now, Calabunga, they're disgusting. And the Lord's visiting them in California now. Okay, it's a little hard to breathe. It's a little hard to breathe, isn't it? It was hard to breathe for the California Indians when you were slaughtering them. Okay, and it's going to be hard to breathe in Rochester and in Buffalo in a second, in a hot second. Most High is sending these things out, man. Black man, Latino, stop wasting your time to get beat up by the cops, okay, and to get sprayed by mace, and get shot with high power weapons, okay, just to yell Black Lives Matter. Our life does not matter in this damn place, and why should we even march for them to consider us a person, for our life to matter? A dog's life matters, they have the ASPCA, but the so-called Black, Latino, and Native American Indian is considered less than a dog in this place. The people of Rochester need to understand that. The people of Buffalo and Niagara Falls, wherever they're having protests, they need to understand that. You're not going to be able to fix this place. I'm going to show you that in the scriptures. We're going to run these scriptures down to you until you're tired of it. Until you know these scriptures like you know your favorite rap song. Okay? We're going to run these down to you all the time, every week, day in, day out in the ISUPK. Lamentations 4:17. As for us, our eyes has yet failed for our vain help. The help you're getting in Rochester from the Rochester City, from the New York State welfare program and all that is vain help. It's worthless. We can feed our kids for a few days. Might get a little school where you can ship your kids off to their slaughterhouse, aka the public school system, for them to be taught nothing and for them to get into more crime than an Italian mafia. Yeah. Okay? And get into more sin than a strip club. That's what's going on in those public schools, yeah. But it's vain help. It's worthless. These little deals they're making, Mayor Warren's talking, yeah, I'll add, she's going to add some task force to the forensics department or something. I couldn't really recall. I can't really recall. She's going to add some force to the forensics department. She's going to add more help for the mentally ill, this, that, and the third. All programs that we were already offering in the ISUPK in Rochester for months. We already had those programs open. She's coming out and saying it. Now people are like, oh yeah, maybe there'll be change. She wants to bring about real change. She must be out of her blooming mind. Our eyes has yet failed for our vain help. And our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. They can't save us. They can give you some food. They can give us WIC. They can give you welfare. They can give you a couple dollars of food. They can give you a little card. They can give you $1,200, which in some places in New York, that doesn't even cover rent. They're complaining about, they're pouting and putting their lips together and having temper tantrums about giving out $1,200. When, I mean, $1,200, first of all, $1,200 to them, it's like, what you can, to them, it's like change for you. Like you have 75 cents in your pocket, you might have $100, $200 in your pocket. That's $1,200 to them is like, okay, you can have it. Yeah, let's go camping for the weekend. $1,200. They can't save us, man. These people complain about giving you what is basically, in New York State, what's basically a month's rent. It's not even a month's rent. New York, in New York City, that's half of a month's rent in many places. $1,200. Okay? And if you have to tell someone your life matters, that should tell you that you don't belong to be joined with them, right? You got to tell them your life matters. You're dealing with a damn animal. You're dealing with a psychopath. Okay? A psychopath is a person that cannot empathize or does not care about other people's pain. Okay, now I think they call it antisocial disorder. Okay, but that's the characteristics of a psychopath. He can't sense your pain or your anguish. He doesn't care about it. You want to go march with him. March to a psychopath. It can't save you, man. Let's read verse 18. They hunt our steps. Our steps are hunted. They hunted Daniel Approved steps. Okay, that we cannot go in our streets. He couldn't go in the streets. He was put to death. Okay, Rochester's a primarily black city, Israelite city, so-called black and Latino. Rochester is. Okay, we can't go in our streets. Harassed by the police, the drugs the police bring to the city, help bring to the city, are destroying our people. You gotta look over your shoulder, and we can't trust your own damn neighbor. We can't go in our streets. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. To anybody looking at us, it would seem like these people are finished. These people are done. There is no way they're going to be able to recover. I'm checking the. Shara Rana said, "Question, sir. What happens to the mentally ill that doesn't know or understand the law, statutes, and commandments?" Maybe you're talking about someone that can. Someone that doesn't have the ability to process information, someone that doesn't have the ability to, or lost the ability to understand right from wrong, they should come into class. They'll come to class. That's what they'll do. Or they'll be destroyed because they have something, ailment on them that is setting them up to be destroyed. All right? Come to class and they'll learn it, and they'll practice it. All right? If they don't have the ability to dictate or understand right from wrong, there'll be someone that'll have to be monitored closely and taken care of. All right? In large part. All right? I think that's what you're talking about. You might be talking about maybe like mental diseases like Alzheimer's or things like that. Or in some capacity, there are mental illnesses that erode a person's ability to make decisions based on any kind of judgment. Those people must come to class. Those people need to have guidance like everyone else, but they more than anybody need to come to class, because what that is that's something that is going to get them killed or going to get them destroyed. Okay? So you can understand. Any other questions? Let me check the chat. George Sanders, Shalom. Yahba Shemel Shabrakta. Posted the sign-up link. I posted the sign-in link as well. If you don't have your name, go ahead and sign in. All right? And don't forget to sign out as well. Where was I? Yeah, to the outside looking in, be like, we're done. We're finished. But we're not done. We're not finished. Okay? We're going to come into the truth, and we're going to change our lives in Rochester, Buffalo, Niagara Falls, and Syracuse. It's the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 19. Our persecutors are swifter than eagles. Those 7 cops, again, 7-1. They put a spit hood over him, cuffed him, and then laid him down, face down in the street. They're swifter than the eagles, man. They come see you. You know, you're walking down the street in Rochester. You're nearly butt naked, going nuts. You think you're good. You're in Rochester. It's a black city. We're all black, right? They're swifter than eagles. Okay? Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. What you need to understand as well in Rochester is that you have persecutors. There are people that are out to destroy you, to oppress you. Okay? And they're swifter than the eagles of the heaven. They have pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness. They pursued us in the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness, like Amalek did, the fake Jew. Okay? He laid wait for our brothers and sisters, okay, in the wilderness. Way back when we were coming out of Egypt. In the south, they laid wait for us after, during the Reconstruction era, when you had whole masses of slaves just walking around the south. They laid wait for us in the wilderness to rape, murder, and lynch, hang us, and burn us alive. Okay, and pour tar over us, and tar and feather us. Okay? There are persecutors. So-called Caucasian is our persecutor. Black man, Latino, Native American. The breath, this is Lamentations chapter 4, verse 20. The breath of our nostrils, the anointed of the Lord. That brother Daniel Prude, so-called blacks, Latinos, and natives that have been brutalized by the police, they're the anointed of the Most High. They're the ones that the Most High chose on this earth. Okay? I'll show you right now to anyone that might be new in the class. Exodus chapter 4, verse 22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. We're his son. We're his firstborn. Okay, we're the heir. Okay, let me get you one more. You know what I want. This is a basic one. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. He chose us. We're the anointed. Okay? The breath of our nostrils, the anointed of the Lord. I'm back in Lamentations 4 and 20. The breath of our nostrils, the anointed of the Lord, was taken in their pits, of whom we said, under his shadow shall we live among the heathen. That's what we said. That's what Black Lives Matter is saying. That's what the civil rights movement said. Many other movements before that, ain't I a man? That's what that movement said. No justice, no peace. That whole idea of joining them. That's, if you could put it in one phrase, this is the phrase, under his shadow shall we live, under his shadow we shall live among the heathen. Among the heathen, among all the races, we'll live under his shadow. Whose shadow? The persecutor who is swifter than the eagles of the heaven. The man that hunts our steps. We say, well, we're going to live under his shadow. We'll live with white people. We'll live with so-called Europeans. They're not all bad. I have some white friends. Our breath is taken in their pits, in their jail cells, and they're in their ghettos that they engineered. Lamentations chapter 4, verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Don't worry about this so-called black man, so-called Latino, so-called Native American, and don't waste your time marching in the damn street, get beaten, and get arrested because they took your damn picture on some street camera. The cup that we got, it also passed through them. They're going to drink down everything that they dished out to us. They're going to drink it down. They're going to be in slavery, in hell, in poverty at the bottom of society. The cup shall pass through them. That's real equality. If we're talking, so-called Black Lives Matter, we're talking, equality. We're talking justice or else. We're talking justice, so-called black people. That's justice. They should live in a place like Kenmore. They should live in a place like East Rochester. They should live in a place where they can't walk down the damn street without getting harassed. They should go to schools that are absolutely abysmal. They should be in a state where they have no hope of ascending socioeconomically, politically, or spiritually. And that place is going to be made for them in the kingdom of heaven. The cup's going to pass to you. Don't worry about it. Italians in Rochester, their chest puffed out. You just came over here on a boat 100 years ago, and you're the big rig. You're the big guy on the block. You get to beat and kill the people that have built this country from the ground up. Okay? Don't worry, the cup's going to pass through to you. You just got the appetizer with the COVID, the coronavirus. But what they're going to take in a second is going to be horrible. It's going to be absolutely terrible. It's going to be terrifying what's going to happen to them. So rejoice. Be glad. Talk your crap on Twitter about how, he was the nut, a maniac. They said he had drugs in his system. George Floyd was a criminal and a drug addict. He broke into somebody's house. Ha ha ha. He deserved to die. We're great. We're still Americans. Rejoice. Be glad. Take your trips, your COVID trips, tourism, wherever you can go now. Due to COVID, you can't really leave the country because nobody in the world wants American COVID. Okay? Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, people of Edom, you so-called Italians, you so-called Russians, you Slavic people, you Spaniards, you Dutch, you French, you British. Have fun. Because you're going to drink down terror. And that cup's going to be passed to you with no chaser from the one you call God. For all that's been done to us in this place, for all that we've had to suffer at your hand, the Lord knows it, and He knows you went too far. Let's read on. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. He'll become bare. He'll be bare for all to see. Then everyone will know who and what he is. Someone that deserved to be punished. Lamentations chapter 4, verse 22. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. The punishment of our iniquity, the punishment of us being evil, it's accomplished, man. These are the days of the end of our captivity. These aren't the days of us being slaughtered and murdered in the damn street. These are beginning to be the days of the end of our captivity. We need to stop smoking weed in Rochester. Stop loving everybody on the damn earth. Get out of this Christian, effeminate mindset of just living and being complacent with the way things are. Because the punishment of your iniquity is accomplished. This is the end. This is it. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. We're not going into captivity anymore. There's going to be no more of this if we do what the Most High says. There's going to be no more of this if we hear the rules in this book and do them. What Christian pastor in Rochester told you this? What imam, what Catholic told you this in Rochester? None of them have a damn answer. They're all a bunch of crooks and liars. And they're going to sound revolutionary to, get you to think of them as the leader, or the one to lead, to follow. The man to follow on this earth is a man named Commanding General YAHANNA, the chief servant of the one you call Christ. And had Daniel Prude called ISUPK Rochester, he'd still be alive today. Because we don't put spit hoods over men and women with mental illness and choke them to damn death. We counsel them, guide them, help them out, tell them they should partake in different hobbies. In many cases, for many brothers and sisters with mental illness, exercise is excellent because it's like a form of meditation. You counting, three sets of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're counting as calming, getting the excess energy out, and it aids in neuroplasticity. What that means is it aids in making new pathways and roadways in your mind, which alter the way you think. In the carnal world, what it's really doing is it's leading you to form healthy habits. Okay, it's leading you down that path. So what we would have told Daniel Prude. He needs to go exercise. He needs to come to class. He should have been at Central Library every week. Him and his family should have been talking to us every week. Okay? Should have been sitting next to the troopers every week in Rochester. And this thing would have been avoided. We've been warning the people of Rochester for 9 months now to a year. And we're going to continue to warn them. Also, if I could, quick sidebar, brothers and sisters in Rochester, in Buffalo, Niagara Falls, Captain Azania should be up there this Friday or tomorrow. I myself, I'll be up in that area next week. I'm going to, might be going to Buffalo, but I'll be up in that area, in that zone next week, all right? Lamentations chapter 4, verse 22. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. Your sins will be discovered. Your iniquity will be visited. George Floyd, Daniel Prude, what you've done to them will be visited, man. You'll be visited for that. Okay? The Most High is going to come see you for that. Okay? So you can understand. Bear with me one second. I want to share this class, all right? Type in your questions if you have them. I'm going to check the chat now, okay? Please bear with me one second. Checking the chat. Nothing on Rochester. Nothing on Syracuse. Shalom. Yahweh Shemar Al Alpha Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom. All right. Boom. If you have any questions, type your questions in, all right? Okay. A second. So that's what's going to happen to the Edom. Edom is the biblical name for the Caucasians, those 7 cops. I believe they're all Europeans. All right? I don't think any black people or Latinos were involved. Those police officers, Europeans in Rochester, are Edomites, and all of them are going to pay for what they've done, what their forefathers did. Okay? You can get the mark of the beast for that That's that knucklehead police chief, or former police chief. Okay? Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay? This mark in your right hand or in your foreheads is not a damn microchip. It's not a microchip. Okay? Everything you have on you is barcoded and is being tracked, and there's microchips in your phone. What do they need to put one in your right hand for? Your phone is essentially an extension of your body. You have your phones on you all the time. There's a practical need to chip you yourself. Two, that's not what this scripture is talking about. The Lord is not talking about RFID technology. Okay? When he says he calls it all nations, small and great. Small nations and great nations. Rich nations, poor nations. First world countries, which would be the Western world or developed world countries, and poor nations, third world countries. Free nations, nations that are free, that aren't tied by billions and trillions of dollars of debt to another nation per se, and bond countries, countries that are in bondage or being controlled or occupied by others. All of them receive or call us to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. What's their right hand? Right hand is synonymous with their strength, with what they do. This mark will be in their right hand and it will be in their foreheads. Okay? What do you do with your right hand? You act with your right hand. What do you do with your forehead? You think with your forehead. These nations are caused to think and act like the beast. Which is why the Japanese man, he didn't trade in his Komodo for an RFID chip. He traded in his Komodo for a suit and tie. Hello, thank you. Now now Japan's in the G20 summit, when 100 years ago they didn't want a damn thing to do with Europeans. They did not like them. China was the same way. Now China's in the big stage. China's rubbing shoulders with Russia. That's the mark of the beast. Everyone gets down with this system of democracy and joining together. Okay, and free market capitalism. And Christianity, which it can all be summed up as. Revelation 13 and 7, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. You can't buy or sell. Buying and selling is not consuming. The viewers, you're a consumer. You don't trade oil nationally. You're not selling 1,300 barrels of oil to Saudi Arabia. You're not doing that. You're buying chips and greens and meat to live. You're a consumer. You buy clothes to put them on your back. You're not trading textiles with Africa. Okay? You're buying corn to feed your kids. You're not trading husks of corn with Denmark. Okay? Buying and selling is trade. You cannot buy or sell, participate in international trade unless you have the mark of the beast. That's part of the beef that they have with North Korea. Because North Korea gives a damn about their people, and they're not going to open strip clubs and Christian churches all over the damn place. They're not going to pimp their women out. They're not going to do it. They're not going to bow down to the Christian idea of God. They're not going to do it. America has a problem with that. Iraq didn't want to do it under Saddam Hussein, and that's a real reason that they came and bombed them to hell. Okay? Because right after they bombed them, they put strip clubs in Iraq. I looked this up, I could find it, and then it was gone from the internet. But one of the first things they put up in Iraq after they bombed them was strip clubs. Okay? Because they wouldn't take the mark of the beast. They wouldn't take Christianity on by the horns. Okay? That cop has the mark of the beast. That cop has a mark in his right hand and in his forehead. Now, he's not chipped, but he does do the things the beast would do. He does cover up murder, making him an accomplice under his own law. He does oversee the shipment of drugs to a city in the middle of nowhere. He does oversee that and doesn't know how to stop it. Doesn't know how to stop or change the level of poverty. Doesn't know how to stop going to some of these shops in Rochester and check some of these Africans for price gouging. Everything in the ghetto is much more expensive than out in the suburbs, out in Greece, out in Brockport. Out in Medina. Out there in these different cities. He doesn't do it. Why? Because he thinks and acts like the beast. He thinks and acts like a white man. And that is the mark of the beast. To think and act like your oppressor, which can be summed up as Christianity. It's what he set up for everyone to take. If you don't take it, if you don't accept this capitalism, Christianity, democracy, you're not in business. Okay, he's going to starve your country out. All right? And the man that has the mark of the beast is a man like Laurent Singletary, a man like Jay-Z, a man like Herman Cain. Who's the leader? Who's the leader of HUD? He's the Negro brain surgeon, Ben Carson. Okay? Like those people. Let me check the feed. Yeah, there is no 400 years of prophecy. There is no 400 years of slavery prophecy. That's not a prophecy in the Bible. All right? Fake Israelites say that because we were in Egypt for 400 years, that we'll be in America for 400 years. That's a lie. That's not in the Bible. No man knoweth the day or the time that Christ returns. We're waiting on the one you call Christ to return. It doesn't say he'll come in 400 years. It says he'll come sometime in this period. All right? The third day. At any moment. Okay? So you can understand. Yeah, it's been 5, if you count the, okay, because first of all, that 400 years, you might be able to apply that to the tribe of Judah, but they brought black slaves to Portugal in the 1500s. Okay? So the tribe of Judah was in slavery in Europe first. And then they decided to cart us over the Americas and swap and enslave the natives as well. But it's been 500 years. Maybe, okay, you said 400 years in America. Even with that, I say, nah, because Columbus came over here. You had, who was that devil in Florida? Ponce de Leon that came over. The Spaniards were taking natives back to Spain and Portugal, 1500s. Okay, so that's not even true. It's been over 400 years. And no, the 400 being in slavery for 400 years has a little bearing on America. It could be longer, could be the same amount of time. That's not a prophecy, though. And then slavery in America has been longer than 400 years. All right. Does that answer your question? Any more questions? Type your questions in. All right. Over the mark of the beast. Deuteronomy. Let's go to Hosea 6:1. All right. Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to grab some water real quick. All right. Be right back. Excuse me. Thank you for waiting patiently. I'm going to Hosea chapter 6, verse 1, all right? The book of Hosea chapter 6, verse 1. Come and let us return unto the Lord, for he hath torn, and he will heal us. The Most High tore us. Like we said in Revelation chapter 9, verse 4, these people don't have any ability outside of what they're given. They're not gods. They're not, how are we going to stop them from killing us? It's very simple. It's very simple. That's not the questions we should be asking. The questions we should be asking is, how do we get fixed? Because the Most High tore us. He put these people over us. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. That's in Job 9:24. What should we be asking ourselves? What should we be saying? Not no justice, no peace, not Black Lives Matter. We should be saying, let us return to the Most High. Okay? He tore us. He put us in this place. He said he was going to put us on cargo slave ships. Okay? And put us over here in slavery. And scatter us about the four corners of the earth. We need to return to him. He hath torn, and he will heal us. He hath smitten, and he will bind us up. He smote us, and he'll bind us up. He'll put us back together. He'll help brothers like, what was the brother's name? Daniel Prude, excuse me. Okay? That's what we need to understand. I keep saying in this class, like Black Lives Matter is wasting their time. It's an absolute waste of time, and it's a terrible battle strategy. Christ had the best strategy. Okay? To gather his people together and wait for the Most High to take the vengeance. Okay? That day's coming soon. It's Hosea chapter 5, verse 15. I will go and return to my place, so that they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction they will seek me early. The Most High, he's saying he's going to return to his place. Meaning what? I'm leaving this alone. I'm leaving them alone. Till they acknowledge their offense. We have to acknowledge our offense. Admit that smoking weed is evil. It is. It's not, or the Lord made the earth. You're not acknowledging your offense. And these cops are going to keep killing us when we think weed is a herb that we can smoke. There's some fake Israelites said on Twitter, I'm glad I started doing edibles, or I'm glad I found edibles. I'm not going to lose the kingdom over smoking. It's like somebody saying, I'm glad I found coke. I don't want to lose the kingdom over this crack. It's ridiculous. You have to acknowledge your offense. It's an offense against God to smoke weed. It's an offense against the Most High. Pimp your woman out. Black man, black woman in Rochester. It's an offense against the Most High to be a Christian. Celebrate Labor Day. When labor in our community has always been short. What are you celebrating Labor Day for? We're short on labor. For sure, we're short on labor now with COVID. People of Rochester need to acknowledge their offenses and change and come into the ISUPK. And you're going to seek the Most High. The Most High is going to step it up. He's going to step it up with the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans in Rochester until we admit our offense, acknowledge our offense, and seek his face. Seek the Most High. How do you seek his face? Go unto a seer. That's in 1 Samuel 9 and 9. Okay? In your affliction, you'll seek him early. How do you seek him? You come to class. Okay? You learn in truth and in sincerity. You learn how to serve him. It's 1 Samuel 9 and 9. Okay? When you seek the Most High's face, you're not walking into a room with him. You can't. No man has seen the Most High. You go to his prophets. In 1 Samuel 9 and 9, before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of the Most High, thus he spake, Come, and let us go to the seer. For he that is now called a prophet was before time called seer. When you want to inquire of the Most High, you want to ask about the Most High, see what the Most High thought of something, you went to the prophets. Who one time were called seers. Okay? That's what we must do. In our affliction, we need to go and seek the prophets, the men that are in the truth. Men that will guide you in the right way. You see what it's like to be under the authority of Laron Singletary. The neighborhood's full of crack, full of drugs. There's crime going on all the time. People are getting shot all the time. And it's a hellhole. It's a cesspool with men like that in authority. Come and learn about the Most High from the priests of righteousness here in the ISUPK. Any questions, type them in. Any questions, type them in. We'll be wrapping up soon. I'm going to wrap it up with the prayers. Made it a few minutes early for that. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. It's Hosea 14 and 1. We'll get more. O Israel, return unto the Lord thy God. For thou hast fallen by thine iniquity. That's why we fell. We don't fall because we're lazy. We didn't fall because black people are shiftless. We can't We can't build anything. We're not smart enough. We're not fast enough. We're not strong enough. We didn't take the right opportunity at the right time. Our iniquity is why we've fallen. Sin. Weed, every weed, every blunt wrap, every cigarette, every whore. Every time you're going to have sex with a man that's not your husband, every time you're going to have sex with another man's woman, you're contributing to our fall. Because we fell due to our iniquity. All right? Shamgar Yashar Allah, do you believe that the whole 144,000 is the ISUPK? We should be believing, what we should be asking is, how do so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans get out of this hell? Because that's what's more important. Okay? This class is about Daniel Prude, about brothers and sisters whose lives have been destroyed by the police, not for your ego. Okay? You can believe whatever in the hell you want. You're in America. Okay? Here's what I do know. What I do know is that things will be situated how they're always situated. There'll be a decision that's made. Okay? The ISUPK is the home of the truth. All right? And the scriptures say the 144,000 will have the seal of the Most High in their foreheads. All right? These men will know to gather together. It won't be scattered. It won't be separated. Okay? It will be in one body. Okay? And under the body of Yahushua, in the body of Christ. It won't be scattered and separated. One knows this, one knows that. That's a damn lie. They all come from one group. Okay? Furthermore, what's more important is, how are we going to stop our brothers and sisters to get murdered from the police? Okay? And it's questions like that that show you who is fit to lead and who is not. A man that's fit to lead will take accountability for the death of his brothers. A man that's fit to lead and is fit to be a part of the 144,000 will seek to teach his people how to be sealed by the Most High. Will seek to seal those by the Most High. And won't ask questions like, who the 144,000? The hell if I know. Okay? 144,000, 12,000 men from each tribe. They'll be under one body, I do know that. Okay? One organization, one army. Who specifically those men are, who knows? The ISUPK is the home of the truth. That's what you're asking. All right? The man fit to lead will take accountability for what's going on with the people. I care about getting black people off of weed. I care about getting black women out of the strip club. I care about telling and helping the family of Daniel Prude understand that the right way is to contact the ISUPK, not the police. To get black people to finally stop calling the damn police all the time for little petty arguments because you and your woman are fighting. Okay? To get black people to stop being disgusting alcoholics. That's what I'm about. Stop black people from being alcoholics, black men and women, being drug addicts, whores, homosexuals, sexual deviants, child molesters, etc. Okay? Hosea 14:1, O Israel, return unto the Lord thy God, for thou hast fallen by thine iniquity. That's how we fell. We fell by our iniquity. We fell because we want to follow Christianity. We fell because we want to be a part of this system, celebrate Christmas, and be like these pagans, heathens that are about us, that are round about us. All right, that's why we fell. Check Syracuse. Do you have any questions? ISUPK Syracuse, I understand. Okay, blah, 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 blah. See here. Let me get one to the pastors. Jeremiah 23:1. This is for the Christian pastors. All right. Those that have authority, or those that have a seat of power in this place over blacks, Latinos, or First Nations. Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Most High. Destruction and death to these pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture. The ISUPK, we're saying that there is one body, one home of the truth. Because of Christianity, because of pastors, the 144,000 from the ISUPK only, they destroy and scatter. That's the work of Christianity. And they're disgusting for them. They'll be destroyed for misleading brothers like that, like this brother here is misled. They'll be destroyed for misleading sisters and believing, oh, F your man, forget unity, forget your brother, your sister. That man gives you problems, you should go ahead and leave him. They destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord, says the Most High. Okay? They'll be destroyed for all of that. The Christian church is directly at fault for the poverty. Christian church is directly at fault for these brothers and sisters walking around the streets with mental illness. And they're at fault for these people thinking it's good to call a gorilla to come and kill a mouse. When you're calling the cops in Rochester, when you're calling the cops here in this land, you're calling a gorilla to come kill mice. It's maybe a small problem. He's running he's out of the house. He's naked, almost naked, walking through the streets. He's not endangering people's life necessarily. Not threatening you. You're going to call a gorilla to go handle a small problem and then expect it to be shocked when a gorilla does what a gorilla does. These are predators that you're calling. Daniel Prude was a prey, and they devoured him. They destroyed him. They destroyed that family. Verse 2. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God of Israel against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away. They've scattered the flock. They've driven them away. Okay? They have not visited. They didn't visit them. They didn't come to visit and help brothers like this to say, look, you got to gather together with your people. Okay? They didn't come to help Daniel Prude. They didn't come to help the family of Daniel Prude. They feed the people. The Lord's saying to them, you've scattered my flock. Now, you've driven them 10 and 15 different directions. And you've driven them away. Driven them away from what? The truth. Pastor Porkchop, he says the law is done away with. The pastor in Rochester is an effeminate man himself. He's a sexual deviant himself. How's he going to teach you about order and how to live? He can't control what's between his legs. It's a joke. Okay? And have not visited them. They don't visit them. They don't visit the brothers and sisters in Rochester. Mayor Warren doesn't visit them. She's going to talk a big game, of course, because she has to keep her Democratic seat. Again, this is under the assumption she's a Democrat. I'm about 95% sure. But whatever party she is, she still has to keep a good public image. And during this time, keeping a good public image is saying you give a damn about black people, and Latinos, and natives. They haven't visited us. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, saith the Lord. The Lord is going to visit upon us the evil of our doings. That's what he's going to do. Okay? Then only people who will come and turn to the Lord are 1/3 and 144,000. Only 144,000 are in the truth. That's not 1/3 being in the truth that's not in the Bible. The scriptures say that the 144,000 sung a new song. Those are the 1/3. All right? So, Jeremiah 23:2 says, Therefore, thus saith the Lord God of Israel against pastors that feed my people. Based on what we did, but the pastors people scattered us, driven us away from the Most High, driven us away from the truth. And their doings are evil. Okay? We beseech you that you come into the truth, the ISUPK, to learn how to live in so many levels. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We teach you things that are tangible that you can use in your day-to-day life. Okay? Pastor, Chief of Police Laurent Singletary has the mark of the beast. Mayor Lovely Warren, your Christian pastors don't give a damn about you. They're going to save face, and they're going to act a kind of revolutionary, semi-revolutionary, kind of halfway revolutionary, to keep you asleep in this system they've got. Because they're making hand over fist. They're making money off of this. Off our destruction, off our poverty. black man, Latino, native, you need to understand that these people are our enemy. Okay? With that being said, I'm going to wrap the class up. Announcements and then the prayers as well, all right? All right. With ISUPK, start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will get permission to court each other. Shalom, sir. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry tithes, which is a commandment. You can find that in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. It means tenth in the Hebrew. Ma'ashera, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department. Losing battery. For any updates, all right, if you want to be a trooper in the school, any brother that wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boot, shirt, pant, headband, and scarf. That being said, at Majin, we're going to say the Lord's Prayer, and then we're going to wrap it up, all right? Adizaka, Haya, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa Haya, Bashamayim, Salanawa, Lakam, Kalyawam, Mosalaknawa, Kalwathnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kawanawa, Fabianawa, Banasay, Aman. That was the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and English. Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. All right, this is the prayer for the power, Hakak. Hamathiam, Hakak, Arakawath, Hatama'ala, Lagarashan, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Thawada Aman. In English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power. Power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. Power to raise the dead. Power against unclean spirits to cast them out. In the name of Yahushai, thank you, so be it. Prayer to bless. Barak Bahashem Yahushai, Wada Aman. We just said was Yahweh in the name of Yahushai, bless us in Israel and the school. In the name of Yahushai, thank you, so be it. Prayer for the power structure in the Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahushai, Almayak Allah, Wa Alahayim, Matazab Yahweh, Ha-Alawapiam, Ha-Saranyam, Ha-Kwatazayanyam, Ha-Tayayalyam, Ha-Gwathiam, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Thawada Aman. In English, bless you Yahweh and Yahushai, and Michael and the angels, commanding General YAHANNA, the generals, the captains, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh in the name of Yahushai, thank you, so be it. All right, that being said, men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute. Bear with me 1 second. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Amajim Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham. We just said was the Lord, in the name of Christ, bless you. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless you. Yajim Atah, which means hands down. Face the sisters if you're in class. Sisters, Amajim Shabbat, right hand over the clasp over your left, with your head down. Heels together at a 45-degree angle. We say Barak. Put your right hand across your chest like so. Repeat the salute after us. Men of Israel, we're going to give the sisters one courtesy salute. Amajim Shabbat. Amajim. Barak. Yahweh Shamar Al Athan Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. Sisters, you repeat. Yahweh Shamar Al Athan Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. We just said was the Lord watch over you sisters in the name of Christ. Yahweh watch over you sisters in the name of Yahweh Shai. Yajim Atah. Class dismissed. Thank you for tuning in. Shalom.